There was no room at the inn. This is one of the most famous lines in the whole Bible. This is the most famous story in the whole Bible. And we all know the story. Mary and Joseph, they traveled to Bethlehem for the census. Mary was super pregnant at the time. And when they arrive, Mary goes into labor. But, oh no, the inn is full. What are they going to do? And so Jesus is born in a stable. A newborn is laid in a bed of hay in a manger. A feed rack for a cow becomes the bassinet for a king. It's a lovely story, and we all know the story. We know how it plays out, and we hear it every year. Now, I imagine any of you out there who have ever been pregnant or given birth might be thinking to yourselves, giving birth in a barn, probably not the best idea. But most of us, we don't really think about that. We overlook the dirt and the mess and the dangers of pregnancies. And instead, we have in our head an image, just like the one we were just looking at, the stained glass window. Or maybe the image you think of is children getting ready for their nativity play, dressed up like little sheep. Or maybe the image is one that, like your nativity scene that you have at home with ceramic or resin figurines all lined up in a row telling the story. Good morning. I'm Pastor Tully. I'm here with my Wednesday morning message. It's the day before Christmas Eve, and I'm delighted to be with you all and share lesson number 4 in our Christmas theology series. I did a bunch of research for this passage. I found people and scholars and essays who wrote about the significance of the census and how they know when that happened and when Jesus was born. There were other scholars who talked about what the stable might have been like and whether it was kind of a detached building by itself that we kind of think of, or whether it was more like the first floor of a big house and animals stayed on the first floor and people stayed on the second floor. Other scholars said maybe it was a cave. I don't really want to get into that. What I want to talk about is the significance that Jesus was born in a place meant for animals. I didn't find a lot of people who really address that subject. See, I would argue that the place of Jesus' birth is really significant, and it's one of the most significant moments that kind of sets the theme and the course for Jesus' life and ministry. Because Jesus being born in a barn, it's basically the world saying, nah, we're good, we're full, we don't want you here. The world rejected Jesus from the moment he was born, and this theme would carry through his whole life. When he started his ministry, when he started preaching and teaching and gathering disciples, the powers at be, the people in charge, were like, nah, we're good. We don't want your radical ideas. We don't need you. And so Jesus got into trouble. And the more he preached, the more he got into trouble. The people in charge wanted the status quo to stay as it was. And Jesus' radical ideas like love your neighbor and love your enemy were just too much for them. And this carries through up until the story that we celebrate on Good Friday, Jesus' death. Because that was when the world really said to Jesus, nah, we're good, we're full, we want you out of here. We don't need you. So everyone, tomorrow night, when you celebrate Jesus' birth, when you exchange gifts with your family, when you eat a wonderful meal, remember that the world rejected Jesus from the moment of his birth, and that the world will continue to reject Jesus. And don't be surprised when Jesus' ideas like love are deemed too radical. Amen.